Hello friends, this is Sanjay. In today's video, we will be talking about the official exemplar questions that were published in December 2021. Exemplar questions means example questions. So this was not a complete model question paper, but a limited number of questions were published for each subject to give students an idea as to what to expect in the upcoming examination. There were 9 questions published for paper 1 maths. So we will be solving all those 9 questions in detail in English. If you are more comfortable with Hindi as your first language, then there is another video where I have covered the same questions in Hindi. You can watch that. So let's get started with the questions. In a division sum, the divisor is 5 times the quotient and twice the remainder. If the remainder is 5, what is the dividend? To solve this question, let's just prepare a diagram which looks like a typical division sum, and let's start filling in the blanks. Now the first information that we'll fill is that the remainder is 5. So let's put 5 here, and in a division sum the divisor is 5 times the quotient and twice the remainder, which means that if we multiply the remainder by 2 we get the divisor, therefore the divisor has to be 10, and the divisor is 5 times the quotient. Therefore if we divide the divisor by 5 we will get the quotient, so 10 divided by 5 is 2. Since we know that 10 into 2 is 20, we should put a blank here and say that there is a number that should be put here such that this number minus 20 should result in 5. Therefore, it is logical that it has to be 25 here, and 25 is the correct answer. A beaker is 3/7 filled with water, and another 16 liters of water is needed to fill the beaker to its brim. So what is the capacity of the beaker? Now let's draw the diagram of a beaker and divide it into 7 parts. And the question is telling us that 3/7 is filled with water, which means that 3 parts of the beaker is filled with water at this time. And another 16 liters of water is needed to fill the rest of the beaker. So this part will require another 16 liters. And we are being asked what is the capacity of the beaker. If these 4 parts need 16 liters to fill up, the volume of each part will be 16 divided by 4, which is 4 liters. Therefore, here we know that this beaker has been divided into 7 parts. Therefore, the volume of this complete beaker, or the capacity of this complete beaker, will be 4 into 7. 4 is the capacity of each part and 7 is the number of parts in this beaker. Therefore, 4 into 7 is 28, and 28 is the correct answer here. Which one of the following is the best approximation of 7.1 into 3.85 divided by 9.09? So the shortcut method that you can use for approximation is draw a line like this and 0.49 on this side and 0.50 on this side. So look at the number after the decimal point. If it is 0.5 or greater, round up the number to the next whole number. If the number after the point is 0.49 or less, round it down to the previous whole number. So now let's look at the problem. 7.1. Since 0.1 is less than 0.49, we will round it down to the previous whole number, which is 7. And 3.85. Since 0.85 is more than 0.50, we will round it up to the next whole number, which will be 4. 9.09. Since 0.09 is less than 0.49, we will round down this number to the previous whole number, that is 9. Therefore, is equal to 7 into 4 divided by 9 should be the answer, which is the correct answer here. This is a maths pedagogy question. The question asks, a child subtracted 2 numbers as shown below. Which one of the following statements gives an idea about the child's learning of subtraction? Let's look at the options. The first one says the child has misconceptions about the place value in the process of subtraction. This is the correct statement, obviously, because it has been already highlighted in yellow. Now, if you look at what the child has done, he has subtracted correctly on this side. 8 minus 2 is 6, correct? And on the other side, he has actually subtracted it reverse. That is 7 minus 3 is 4. Therefore, the child knows how to subtract but has a misconception about which number to subtract from which number. Therefore, he is more confused about the place value in the process of subtraction. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Let's also look at the other options and see why they are wrong. Now, option B says the child does not know how to subtract. As we have seen, the child has actually subtracted 8 minus 2 is 6 and 7 minus 3 is 4. Therefore, the child knows how to subtract. So this is an incorrect statement. C says the child knows the process of subtraction of two-digit numbers. This is an incorrect statement because if the child knew how to subtract two-digit number, he would have done this problem correctly. However, here he has committed a mistake, so which means that the child knows how to subtract but does not know the process of subtracting two-digit numbers. Therefore, this statement is incorrect. The last statement says the child is making a mistake and can be rectified by repeated practice. So the child is making a mistake. So if you make the child practice repeatedly, then the child is essentially going to repeat the same mistakes again and again. So here it is important that you understand why is the child making a mistake and make the child understand the basic concepts of how subtraction works. Therefore, this statement that the child should be made to repeat the same problem again and again, repeated practice, this is incorrect. Given below are 4 figures with the line AB passing through them. In which of the figure or figures AB is the axis of reflection symmetry? Now to understand what is this axis of reflection symmetry, think of something that is kept in front of a mirror. What the mirror does is it exactly reflects whatever is in front of the mirror. However, the direction will be reversed in the sense left becomes right and right becomes left. Otherwise, the image in the mirror and whatever is kept in front of the mirror will exactly coincide with each other. Now, let us look at all the 4 figures. In figure 1, if we fold this particular image along AB, then these two parts will not coincide because this corner will come here and this corner will come here. Therefore, AB is not the axis of reflection symmetry here. In 2, if we fold this image along AB, then both of these parts will coincide perfectly. Both these corners will actually touch each other and so will both the sides. Therefore, AB is the axis of reflection symmetry here. When we look at picture 3, then if we fold this image along AB, then both the sides will perfectly coincide. Therefore, here AB is the axis of reflection symmetry. In picture number 4, if we fold this image along AB, then these two parts will not coincide with each other. This end will come here, this end will come here, so they will not touch each other perfectly. Therefore, here it is not the axis of reflection symmetry. So only in 2 and 3, AB is the axis of reflection symmetry. Therefore, figures 2 and 3, this is the correct answer. Ramesh is traveling by train from Mysuru to Shimoga. He leaves Mysuru at 1740 in 24-hour clock and reaches Shimoga at 0020. What is the duration of his travel? It's a very simple problem. Start with the first starting time, that is 1740. Now this train would have traveled all the way till midnight, which is 0000. So this is 6 hours 20 minutes and it would have continued after 0001, that is 12:01, and it reached Shimoga at 0020. So this is 20 minutes. Now if we add this 6 hours 20 minutes and 20 minutes, we'll get the answer, which is 6 hours 40 minutes. How many axes of symmetry does the following image have? Now, an axis of symmetry is a line that we can draw through an image, and if we fold that image along that line, the two parts must be exact mirror images of each other and they should coincide with each other. Now, if we draw one line like this, and if we fold this image, you can see that both the parts are exactly equal and they will coincide. Therefore, this is one axis of symmetry. There can be another axis of symmetry from here, then there can be another axis of symmetry, and if you look at this part, it looks like a triangle, and all of these in fact look like triangles, so which means that we can draw a line exactly through the middle of this triangle, and that will also be an axis of symmetry. Therefore, if we draw similar lines like this, then we see that we have eventually drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 lines. Therefore, this figure has 6 axes of symmetry. Therefore, the answer is D. In an assessment conducted by class 4 teacher Miss Parul, a majority of her students identified 1/7 as being greater than 1/3. Which of the following exercises should Miss Parul conduct to address the misconception? So first thing to realize here is that this exercise is being conducted by class 4 students. So these are very young children. And what is the confusion that is happening? They are looking at 1 by 7 and 1 by 3, which are unitary fractions, because here the numerator is same on both sides. It is 1. It is only the denominator that is changing. So they are looking at these unitary fractions, and because they know that 7 is bigger than 3, they are saying 1 by 7 is greater than 1 by 3. And this is the mistake that they are making. So now, what exercise can Miss Parul conduct to solve this misconception or explain the concept of fractions to them? Now the first one is, ask a student to pick one block from 7 given blocks and another student to pick one block from 3 given blocks. Ask the other students to comment on which one of them is a bigger fraction. Now this exercise will not work. So we can discard this, because if you ask the first student to pick one block from 7 given blocks, how many blocks this student have? He has one block. And another student to pick one block from 3 given blocks. So how many blocks does this student have? One block. So each student has one block each. So how can you explain the concept of fractions and which is bigger here? So this exercise will not work. The second exercise is, draw 2 equal circles, each with 4 equal parts, and shade 2 parts in one and 3 parts in the other. Ask the students which is the bigger fraction to test whether they are able to compare fractions with equal number of total parts. Now this exercise will also not work. For example, if we draw 2 similar circles, and the first one is divided into 4 parts and the second one also is divided into 4 parts, and shade 2 parts in the first one. So we shade 2 parts, and 3 parts in the second one. So we shade 3 parts. So what have we done here? The first circle, if you look at the unshaded parts, it is 2 by 4, and in the second circle it is 1 by 4. Here these are not unitary fractions because the denominator is same, but the numerator is changing. Therefore, these are not the type of fractions that we are trying to compare here, 1 by 7 and 1 by 3. Therefore, this exercise will also not work. Option C says, explain to the students that while comparing unit fractions, the fraction with a bigger number in the denominator is always smaller. This is a correct statement. And this would probably have worked if we were dealing with elder children. But here we are dealing with class 4 children who are very young. So they are not even able to understand the concept of fractions. If we start talking to them about numerator and denominator and unit fractions, then obviously it is going to confuse them further. Therefore, this exercise will also not work, even though the statement is correct. Now, the last option is the correct answer here, which has also been highlighted in yellow. That is, draw 2 equal circles and ask students to divide one circle to 5 equal parts and the other into 8 equal parts, and ask them part of which circle is bigger. Now, if we conduct this exercise like this, both of these circles are equal. Now, the first circle has been divided into 8 equal parts, and the second circle has been divided into 5 equal parts. And it is very easy for the student to see that if the same circle is divided into more number of parts, here each part is 1 by 8 and here each part is 1 by 5. So if the same circle is divided into more number of parts, each part will actually be smaller than the other option where it is divided into lesser number of parts. Therefore, it is very easy to explain the concept as to why 1 by 7 is smaller than 1 by 3. Therefore, option D is the correct answer here. You have given 3 different tasks to 3 groups in your classroom. Group 1 should compare the given figures and find out which one occupies more area. Group 2 to calculate the perimeter of given shapes using a ruler. And group 3 find out how many steps you can take along the sides of the classroom walls by walking heel to toe. On what basis have these groups most likely been created? Now look at the type of exercises that has been given. The exercise given to group 1, they are comparing given figures. For example, if you give them a triangle, if you give them a rectangle, if you give them a square, then they are supposed to compare the given figures and find out which one occupies more area, which means that they should understand the concept of area of all these figures and they should know the formula of area as well. So this is a relatively more complex task. Group 2 has to calculate the perimeter of the given shapes using a ruler. This is a little simpler than what has been given to group 1 because all that they need to know is perimeter is essentially the sides or the length of the edges of these figures. Therefore, they just need to calculate or measure the length of the edges of these figures using a ruler or a scale. Therefore, this is less complex than what has been given to group 1. Now group 3, they have to walk along the edges of the classroom and see in how many steps they can measure the entire classroom. So this is a fairly simple exercise. So now, on what basis have these groups been most likely been created? Now, are they based on the students' learning styles? No, there is nothing about learning styles in this entire question. Therefore, this is incorrect. Based on the student's learning level, obviously because it has been highlighted in yellow, this is the correct answer. And as you can see, group 1 consists of students who know about these different figures and also know the concept of area and the formula of area. Therefore, their learning level is at a higher level. And the group 2 is where students are just figuring out what is a perimeter and how to measure a perimeter using a ruler. So these are at medium level. And group 3 is has a lot of catching up to do because they are just measuring the end or the walls of the classroom by walking along it, along the sides of the classroom. Therefore, this is a simple task. So the division of these groups is on the basis of the students' learning levels. And option C says based on the students' interest in maths. This is incorrect because there is nothing about whether the students are interested or not interested in maths. Even a person in group 3 may be very interested in maths. It is just that the current learning level is lower. Therefore, this is an incorrect statement. And based on the student's cognitive ability. So this is also incorrect because we are not measuring anybody's cognitive ability here or their capability to learn. We are just giving them some tasks based on which group they are. Therefore, this is also an incorrect statement. With that, we have completed all the 9 questions given in paper 1 mathematics in the exemplar set of December 2021. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, please post them in the comment section below. And please do like this video and subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends who are preparing for similar exams. Stay safe, take care, and I will see you again in the next video.